So it hit PlayStation game. George Saros is out now at the time of you listening to this, dear viewer or listener. And I played it a few days early because PlayStation sent me a code. I haven't played a lot at the time of recording. In fact, I just played 2 hours just before we're recording this. But so far, I think it's good.
Hey.
I can't wait for that game to brick my PlayStation.
Yeah, that game might break your play. It's a very pretty game. I was impressed. I was streaming it, and we were talking with chat about how it did not have bitrate issues, and I really thought this game would be bitrate hell, just because of how much is going on. I mean, it's a bullet hell game, so all these particle effects flying at you all at once, I thought would tank the bitrate on Twitch. And
on Twitch, that makes sense.
And it didn't. On PS5, like on the actual system, it won't. The bitrate will be good.
Yeah, that's why I was confused for a second. I'm like, I don't think Returnal had that issue, but it makes sense if you're talking streaming. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking back to when Chris played Astrobot on stream, and like the bitrate did tank for a few of those moments.
Yeah.
So I thought for sure this would do that, because even when I streamed Rift Apart, it also had that issue where it got a little crunchy at points.
That makes sense.
At least on the Twitch side, YouTube has better stream codecs, but the bitrate's still kind of weird, and you don't want to stream at 4K anyway. Anyway, point is, I played it, and it was I can't say a lot too much about it yet, because I've only played 2 hours, but I got to the first boss. I'm assuming it's a boss because it had 3 health bars. I really enjoyed that fight. I almost got through it. I think I was about a little under or a little over 2/3 of the way through it. 2 of the 3 health bars. Very fair fight. It does some really cool things that I don't remember Returnal doing. I'm being vague because Brody doesn't want to be spoiled by anything of the game. So, what I'll say is, I think if you liked Returnal but wanted it to be easier or more digestible, so far I think it is that. I think it addresses
I've heard
some
that.
of the early complaints of Returnal.
I've heard it's like a little more good, better about the onboarding process, essentially.
Yeah, the first like half hour or so, or like 45 minutes, it felt like a hard-coded run rather than like a procedural one. It might have also been procedural with set checkpoints.
Yeah, I mean, it's common that like a lot of these really good ones do tend to have hard-coded like first, second, third runs.
Yeah,
sometimes.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that.
And I'm fine with it too. I enjoyed the first little warm up phase. I think there's some cool stuff that I can't remember how it compares to Returnal. Like I really like the shield gimmick that I don't remember Returnal having too much of, where shielding, you get a big bubble shield if you hold the R1 button, and any of the bullets that hit you charge up if you're in shield mode. Charge up your hand stuff is what we were calling it with Twitch chat, because you get a cool little hand power that blasts things if you hold the left trigger down, versus half press, which is when you use your weapon. But if you use like your hand rocket blast, it does a lot of damage, kills things pretty quickly. But it uses that meter that you get by, instead of dodging through all of these different bullet hell elements, absorbing them.
Yeah, I think I remember something similar to that in Returnal. I don't know if it was like an inherent power or something that you
and maybe get later on,
or a permanent upgrade or something like that. But I recall something like that.
For all I remember, and I'm sure that the comments on YouTube and the audio realm will correct us, it may well be exactly that in Returnal. It's been like 5 years since I did play it, because it came out right around this time. 5 years ago.
This requires anyone to have ever played Returnal is the problem.
That's also the thing.
A lot of people played Returnal, didn't they? Like, I don't think it was like a huge hit, but I thought it did successful enough.
It was enough of a hit that Sony themselves came out and said, like, hey, this actually did like really well compared to what we thought it was going to do. Like, this, we consider this a success.
Yeah.
Which was great news, because that's how we got Saros. But I think it's one of it might be, of all of the PS5 quote unquote these days exclusives, it might be the most under the radar one, which is sad because it's also the best one.
Hey man,
I love Returnal. You're forgetting about Destruction.
Oh boy.
Checkmate. What I will say also is the thing about this game that's most impressive to me so far, and again, I'm in the first area, so I can't say too much about how it goes as time goes on. I was really impressed by they give you very clear like data log entries, so like you have this many of this area's data logs, which I don't think you got unless you went back to the starting area in Returnal. There's a home base, which I like. There are people to talk to, which I like, because it's not just as lonesome an experience as Returnal, which has its own benefits and detriments. But the thing to me is I don't think there are rooms in Saros. Like, I don't know how they're streaming the procedural world, but I'm assuming it's in like chunks well beyond what you can see. But there are no like you go through Metroid door and here's the procedurally generated room chunk that they chose to put in there.
That's crazy. I would have figured that for like a lock-in.
It is all open. I mean, there are like little, like what would you call it? Like a 4-way piece where like there's the little crossroad section. Like there are those that will then sometimes have an area walled off. Or that's, you go left to go to that next area. There are a lot of small hallways in between that are probably the way that they'll like figure out what they're doing next in the level if they haven't already, done that behind the scenes. So there are some tricks that you wouldn't notice if you're not paying attention to the game design, but it's really impressive. I don't know what they did to improve their dynamic streaming and loading to this degree, but there really aren't rooms at all. Like there's like one door and it's to the boss.
That's crazy. Like that is actually that's impressive. Because I know that the whole thing with Returnal was like the doors are there in part because it feels a little bit more like Metroid Prime to have them there, but also because the SSD is loading the thing. Right? Even with the SSD, it's still loading the thing, whatever it is.
Yeah. So I'm assuming it's a similar scenario to like how the buzz phrase they used with Ratchet and Clank was they're dynamically loading everything behind you that you can't see. They're loading the visuals in as you turn the camera instead of having to load the whole level in, which is why a lot of Rift Apart's levels were way more open because they could just hide the actual the visual elements until they needed to load them in real time, that exact moment.
Yeah. I'm curious because it's interesting that there isn't just like hard set rooms or whatever. I mean, maybe obviously 2 hours. It's a little hard to tell at that point.
Yeah,
because there could be.
There are a few repeat rooms that I've noticed. Like, there are a couple already.
Like set pieces that they kind of get stitched together in a way that feels more natural. Essentially, is kind of what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Like the one that I noticed was like a very Returnal based area as well, where there's a handful of like destroyed platforms, but they have some like the pressure pads that fire up at you if you step on them. There's a couple of those, and there was a specific like pillar and enemy combination that I had noticed in the prior run. I've done like 4 runs, I think, maybe 3 total. And like I said, within 3 runs, I got to the boss, and I feel like I could have beaten him if I had been a little more prepared just with health. Because there's the other element of the thing that I don't think Returnal did. Halfway through, give or take, the area you're in, you go and touch a bunch of hands, you do more hand stuff. And it's very Death Stranding coded. And then that's when the eclipse happens. That was shown in all the trailers and the marketing material. And the eclipse will then change some of the enemy bullets to be like yellow instead of blue. And so the yellow is a warning that you can tank that hit even with your shields. Like it'll damage you if you don't have your shield up. If you have your shield up, at least early on, you won't take damage and it'll charge your meter for your big blast. But it eats away at your max health. So it's sort of like that thing in like when you get shot in Judgment with a gun, where you lose that health bar until you went and healed. Right. It's like that, where the health bar is almost locked and shrinking.
Gotcha. They had similar, like they had color coded mechanics in Returnal where there was like, oh, you can dodge through the red, but you can't dodge through the purple.
Yeah, you have to they took that and changed it so that like the yellow is, you don't want to absorb it because you are sacrificing health in the process. You're not losing health, you're just sacrificing your max health until you then use your hand stuff. Once you use hand stuff again, that blast then like takes back some of the chunk of health that you lost by way of that coverage thing. It
sounds like there's like this weird. So obviously, Returnal was very heavily inspired by Metroid Prime, to the point where, having not played Prime and playing it after Returnal, it was funny to go through that game, enter a new room, and be like, "Oh, I love this room from Returnal. I'm so glad to be seeing this room from Returnal in this game I'm playing." It sounds like, weirdly, when you describe the hand stuff, it sounds almost like the Metroid Prime 4 psychic abilities.
No, it's not that. It's more like it's more like Mass Effect psionic power.
Oh.
Where you're just like shooting a blast. It's just a hand gun. Like it's literally like it's a gun blast you fire out of your hand. But you need to have the charge for it. And unlike your ammo, that doesn't refill on its own. You need to absorb bullets with your shield to get that ammo back for the blast, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting, again, from what I remember, inversion of some of the stuff that you would have learned in Returnal. It's got a much more easy to understand skill tree and level up system, so you are just very quickly able to build power. It's got save slots, which is cool.
Yeah, they added that in later, but I think
that was the thing they patched into Returnal when they did the multiplayer patch, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it was that specific patch, but yeah, they eventually added in like the ability to pause your run.
Well, you can also pause the game warns you immediately. It will pause your run if you're not at the boss, if you close the game for any reason, and you'll reload back at wherever the nearest spawn point was. If you're at a boss, it'll kill you. Like it'll reset you back to base. Yeah. But yeah, no, I think it's pretty good so far. I'm excited to get back into it and dig more into it. It's a lot more absorbable, a lot more intelligently designed for normal players. I think Returnal is a very hardcore game, and I liked it for that. I don't think this one's probably going to be better for it. Go ahead, sorry.
I don't think you mentioned it after we started recording, just on the pre-show. So I'm very curious to see how the grass that makes you crouch like plays into the whole situation. Because Returnal is such a fast-paced, kinetic shooter where I'm jumping around all the time that I think of the idea of adding in like half-baked Sony stealth into it, and I'm like, oh, I don't want that.
It's not stealth. It's not stealth at all. It's very specifically, there is a near the end of the first area, you run into waist-high grass that is pulling against you, so that you can't move as quickly or jump as high, which in a game like Returnal or like Saros would be very rough to deal with in a bullet hell situation. So then the next set of arenas you are in are then surrounded by waist-high grass that slows you down and pulls on you. So it's almost like the arena is smaller than it looks, because if you go too far back, you can do that, but you're punished by way of your dash is shorter, if you can dash at all. I actually don't remember if you can dash out of the grass. But you move slower, etc. So you're kind of punished and forced back into a smaller arena space, which makes it feel more claustrophobic than a small arena.
Yeah, I mean that's far more interesting. Where it's a hindrance, not a help. Yeah. That's actually cool, because I really love playing around with the space and having like ground that's bad to walk on. You know, I don't remember, because I got I think I got through 3 areas of Returnal, and I think so. I would have beaten 3 bosses, or maybe 4. We did the 4th one co-op.
Okay, so I did 3 solo, and then the 4th one I did co-op with you. Yeah. I don't think we finished that one, but point being, I got decently far into Returnal. I don't remember a lot of the bosses. I really liked Saros' first boss immediately. Maybe that's just prisoner of the moment talking, but the way that boss is designed was way cooler in experience than I expected going into it. That's all I'll say, again, because I don't want to spoil for Brody or anyone listening. But it's a really cool fight. If you're not going to play it, I recommend looking it up, because it's pretty cool how it's implemented.
I'm excited, because I think the 2 major bosses that come in Act 2 of Returnal, which is the one for the 4th level, and then the last boss, because the 5th world's a bit weird. It's more like a mini boss. I think it's really cool, like that. I think we got to the boss because it was in the 4th level.
We definitely fought the boss.
It's the one, he's at the organ and he's playing like an organ version of Don't Fear the Reaper as you're fighting him. Yep, I forgot that game was entirely Don't Fear the Reaper. That's right. Right, yeah, I can't listen to that. Every time that song comes on, I immediately look at the clock like, don't be 8:26, don't be 8:26. I can't listen to that song because Justin played it on Fuser mixed with a bunch of other awful songs in his DJ mix. And not that the songs are awful, but his implementation of the stems of the songs were awful. So hearing Don't Fear the Reaper alongside Megalovania as the beat, or alongside Livin' La Vida Loca, High Hopes, the beat for High Hopes alongside Don't Fear the Reaper, down mixed to the wrong tempo. I don't recommend it. I don't.
One day we'll do a Fuser concert on the Crub Discord. So crub.org/join.
Yeah, we literally can't do that on stream.
That will never happen anywhere but Discord.
I went into it. I played around with it a bit. It's something. I still have all the files downloaded.
Yeah, that's a cool game, Fuser.
I have basic Saros questions that might help me in any general audience listening. 60 FPS, I presume.
At least. I'm on a PS5 Pro, so I can't speak to whether it's at 60 or 120 even. My monitors are VRR, but I don't think it would have gone to variable refresh rate because I'm going through a splitter and then also I was streaming it, so I think it would have I would have known if it was faster than 60.
Okay.
It's going to be a solid 22 on my PlayStation while it's smoking.
Right, and your busted ass PS5. Is it known if it's like a story sequel to Returnal? Is that possible?
It's not related as far as I know.
Okay. Gotcha.
It's thematically a sequel. Thematically a follow-up.
Yeah, the way that Returnal goes about its story, like there you can take it in one of two ways. There is like ostensibly a correct way, but the game gaslights you and you can kind of take it one way or the other. It's not impossible that Saros is a direct sequel, but you probably wouldn't know that till the end of the game because it would probably be a reveal.
There were specific things in the Sony disclosure form that you fill out when they offer you a code. And there was a chunk of like, hey, don't read this unless you want to be spoiled, and don't read this until you beat the game if you're covering it. Try to avoid this stuff if you're doing like don't open with this specific stuff that you're going to talk about. And it was like ending type stuff. None of it made sense, thankfully. It was all vague.
I would expect some kind of major plot twist, at least by the halfway point, like similar to Returnal. Yeah,
it's gonna mess with you in some way. It's an A24 film, but
I love it. I love when a game gaslights me. I need more games to gaslight me, to be honest. Love that shit.
Boy, do I have the game for you. Parking Garage Circuit Rally. We'll talk about that in a sec. Chris, did you have any other questions about George Saros?
I had a third one and I can't remember it, so I guess I don't. It felt like a good one, but I don't remember it.
Okay. If it comes back to you.
Yes, I have it. PS5 only, right? This is the game that kind of broke with the news that it won't be coming to PC in 6 or more months, right? So if anyone's waiting on a Steam release, maybe cut that hope.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect it. Sorry, someone in chat specifically just said, I can't wait for it to come to PC. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect it to go anywhere. I think multiplayer Sony stuff is the only stuff that they said pretty reliably will likely come multi-platform from here on out, unless they do another Lego Horizon, in which case that I think has to come to Nintendo.
I can't wait for MLB The Show 27.
See, now that one might.
That one probably would.
I think the MLB license was maybe pushing their weight around a little bit to get that one off of PlayStation.
That was specifically MLB, as far as we know. That they were like, "Hey, put it on other systems," and then they did, and then I'm sure it didn't do well because baseball is kind of obviously it's big in Japan, but baseball is an American sport, so it doesn't, and it's not football, so it doesn't do football numbers.
They got to leverage Shohei Ohtani more, you know. I think if they get him more and more popular, maybe baseball comes with him, but
yeah. Brody, what have you been playing lately?
Well, so I thought about talking about, I've been playing Hades. I've been playing a lot of Hades in order to avoid playing Nine Souls because I'm stuck on a boss. And I thought about talking about that, but I think I might save that because it will either come up in our bigger discussion today or it'll come up next week. So I think what I'm going to talk about is I instead of being very positive on a game that I'm having a lot of fun with, I think that I'll talk about Akimbot because it fits. My background's already Akimbot, and also I think we would all have very, very nice things to say about this game. I've been playing Akimbot in Crub VC for the past couple weeks. Whenever we hang out, I hop in and I jump on Akimbot because it's the only way that I can rationalize to myself to play this game. Yeah. Only way that I can rationalize to play this game because
there was a point that you were having fun. And then one of us said, hey, Brody, Kevin, and Chris are all on the call. You have to switch over to Akimbot and suffer.
That's right. I was playing Hades, and then it became where it was only me, Kevin, and Chris. And then Chris was like, "Why aren't you playing Akimbot?" And I'm like, "I guess I should finish Akimbot. God damn it. Okay."
It was nice to be on the other end of that for a change, right? Because there was like the Jack 2 dynamic.
Sweet
is
revenge.
Like, it's just us three, huh?
Right.
Yeah. Put up Jack 2, Chris.
Gets to 2 a.m. every night. It's only the three of us. Yeah. Time for Jack. To Chris, it's 2 a.m. Time for Jack. Okay, honey. That was basically Akimbot for me these past few weeks. Oh, right. Okay, yes. So Akimbot is I guess you would call it an indie successor attempt at a Ratchet and Clank style PS2 game with, like, I guess a little bit of Jack in there or whatever.
Action,
comes
run and
from
gun, platformery kind of.
If you've seen anything indie style revival in the last few years, you've likely seen the Akimbot robot, because it is just Ratchet Deadlock at home.
Yeah,
like it is just the Deadlocked outfit, but as a robot.
Yeah, made by the same guy that made Pumpkin Jack, which was that medieval style spiritual successor, even though like on the website it says it's medieval meets Jack, and I'm like, where are we getting?
It's not really either of those games,
right? It's not really either. Like aesthetically, sure, but it's not really gameplay wise either. And it's just kind of like,
to the credit, right? I think you like
right. Yeah. I had an okay time with Pumpkin Jack. I didn't have an actively like bad time.
I think that's where I was. I enjoyed it just enough. Like, it was good Steam Deck fodder when I first got my Steam Deck.
Yeah,
I didn't finish it either. That was when I think 3 hours in, I was like, okay, I'll put it down, and then I kind of knew when I put it down.
Yeah, and it was, like I said, it was fine. It was competent. Akimbot is also competent-ish. Like, I think my biggest problems stem. It's like threefold. There's like three major problems with the game. Number one is the tone, because from the very first cutscene, and I had, maybe this is my fault for having subtitles turned on, but from the very first cutscene, within like literally 5 minutes of gameplay or of cutscene, the main character went like "Cha," and then said a line, and it literally subtitled it like TCH ... Like I cannot exaggerate how many times this happened in the first cutscene alone.
Bro, do you have a My Anime List account? I kind of thought that would appeal to you.
God, no, it's like it feels like someone who has like the vaguest idea of what like an edgy hero is supposed to be, but like the most schoolyard understanding of that. Like this is my Sonic OC. He's Shadow but cooler.
I know. Like, we had a joke here, so I'll give a little bit of backstory as well. I have not played Akimbot. They reached out to me, the publisher, I believe, reached out around the time the game came out, because they were trying to get sponsored coverage of the game. So if you see a lot of YouTuber reviews of that game, I'm not saying they're all sponsored, but a lot of them were sponsored. So keep in mind, if they didn't disclose that, they might have been more positive than they should have been. I gave them a number, because they reached out, and it was very like, okay, if you're going to reach out, the Ratchet and Clank guy's probably a good guy to reach out to. I gave him a number for video game sponsorship, because I have my ethics on that are you pay me more, because I'm stretching my credibility potentially if people see that I'm taking a sponsorship from a game. I gave him a number and said, I have editorial oversight. You can't change what I say as far as the contents of the game itself. It's different if it's like, hey, don't make this joke, or whatever. Because I could see a lot of people being like, here's a 9/11 joke on this sponsored review, and that's kind of shitty.
Sure. Yeah. But your opinion is going to be unchanged, basically. They're not going to bend that for them. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've done this before. There was a game, Lifted, that has a demo that they wanted me to cover, and they sponsored the coverage of the demo, and I had editorial oversight. I said, here's all the issues with it. And I think that game's out later this year now. I think they delayed it to help polish stuff up based on not me, but what people said. Anyway, long walk to get the glass of water there. They never responded after I gave them the number, and that's fine. So Brody, you were saying to me the one time when we were at 2 a.m. playing this game, you were like, it's probably a good thing that they didn't, because
genuinely 100% a good thing they did not get you to sponsor review this game. Like, honestly, the when you pitch that story, I sometimes think maybe it's not the number, maybe it is the editorial oversight. That,
it probably was. Yeah, I mean, I gave him a high number too, to be fair.
But like, there's no world in which you come out of this game being nice to it.
Yeah, like, I just from watching you, so our conversation started. Okay, it seems like they took what they remembered from Ratchet and Jack and kind of mashed that stuff together into different parts of the game. And then as time went on, we were like, okay, maybe they looked at the Ratchet Deadlocked cover and they thought that's what a Ratchet and Clank game played like. Because it just doesn't look, again, I haven't played it, so I can't speak personally to the quality. It doesn't look good.
It's okay. So one thing that I think you can speak to, because this is a visual element, and it's my second problem with the game. I understand being an indie studio. I understand not having the budget or the time to make a lot of assets and make a lot of different environments and biomes. I get that. But the fact that like every single level looks like the same beach, like industrial beach level over and over and over with like a different color filter over it. It makes like they're saying, oh, we're going to this other planet, right? Like the first 3 levels take place on the same planet. So sure, you give it me the industrial beach level color coded a bit differently depending on when it's like peaceful and when it's, you know, madcap, whatever. Sure. But then we're going to this other like ruins planet, and like all of the caves inside somehow look like the outside. And then we're going to this other planet, and then we're back on the beach, and we go back in time, and we're back on the beach. We keep coming back to the beach.
It's very Death Stranding coded,
right?
Like Saros.
Right.
It's the fact that like, so none of the weapons, as far as I remember, none of the main weapons have ammo, right?
So the third issue is the gameplay. The gameplay is just, or the gunplay, I should say, is just not very fun, because as you play the game, you get 4 weapons that are mapped to the D-pad, and all of them, they don't have ammo. They're all overheat weapons, like Mass Effect 1. And I just, in general, I'm not a big fan of overheat weapons, because I'm just like, let me keep shooting. And they're all kind of like, 3 of them, the first 3 that you get, the assault rifle, the sniper, and the rocket launcher, they all don't feel very good. The minigun you get like 60% of the way into the game, that feels okay. Like that, when I got the minigun was the only time in the game I was like, oh, I think I'm maybe having something resembling fun right now. Ooh. And then the other thing is
in the vehicles, to be fair, to
right? And yes, about halfway through the game, they start introducing vehicle segments, and those were all right. It wasn't that I was having fun. It was that it was the most fun I was having in the game.
That's the point at which we then realized that it wasn't the picture of the deadlocked cover that they took as inspiration. It was actually they played Rough Trigger and thought that's what a Ratchet and Clank game was
right.
like.
It literally felt like a Rough Trigger.
Like the driving sections looked like the Rough Trigger driving sections, alongside having the weird Jack 3 like cars can jump thing. Only it did that poorly. Like the camera angle doesn't feel good. It's an indie game, so you have to give it some level of grace. And in the same breath, I am surprised a lot of people propped that game up in like the Ratchet fan base community, like not creators necessarily, just like we've seen people that were like, this is the game that has the soul that Ratchet and Clank lost, and you look at it and it's like, it's not funny. They took Clank and made him, like you said, Brody. We haven't said it yet, but Claptrap. Like Clank is no longer the straight man to Ratchet being the jackass.
His name is Shipset. The main character's name is Exe, like .exe, because everyone's a robot. It's very funny. And then Shipset is the sidekick, but he literally, I guess, is supposed to be more of a Daxter than a Clank, but he straight up comes off like Claptrap because he has a Claptrap voice. And it's awful. Like it is genuinely like it's some of the worst writing I think I've ever seen in a video game. And it just sucks. And the thing is it all compounds, because Shipset is another reason that the story and tone just sucks. And then the one time that I have seen a different biome in this game, it has been like a digital space. Like my character, spoilers for Akimbot, I die at some point. And in my death fugue state, I'm now in this digital realm that looks like here's a digital realm thing from a video game. But to be fair, it's the only other time the game looks different than beach level. But it's also like, oh, lol, random rainbow ponies attacking you. There's sweets everywhere, and teddy bears are fighting
Neon
you.
Cat.
Yeah, like haha, we're like.
Song.
waffles so random. Right, yes, with the vocal, there's a tube tunnel like mini game that you have to do that's like absurdly hard for no reason, and you have to listen to a vocal song the entire time that's not very good.
That's where they took inspiration. They played Secret Agent Clank and thought that was what a Ratchet and Clank game was like.
It feels weirdly. It's the stereotype of what Borderlands humor is what that game is in that segment, and is with shipset and everything. And then to round out the gameplay complaints, you have those 4 base guns, and you also have 4, I guess they're called special guns or whatever, and you can upgrade them at the shops, and the only thing that you can use the currency for is to upgrade these 4 guns. But you can only have one of the 4 equipped at a time, and you can only equip them between shops, so you basically only get 1 chance per level to like switch them if you want to. And the way that their ammo works is you have to kill other enemies with like your base guns to get ammo for those guns. But the problem is that even
just like Saros,
even as kind of bad as the base guns are, they still feel more intuitive than like any of the special weapons. So I kind of just don't bother using the special weapons most of the time.
And it's also like the regular weapons don't have experience or anything, from what I recall, right?
No, not at all.
Like there's not really a reason to fight things beyond the fact that sometimes you need to progress. Like it's not like you don't have the good feeling of like a Ratchet and Clank weapon number go up.
Yeah, no, it doesn't feel the game. Chris uttered it one time. The game is sauceless. The game has no sauce.
Like it's very confidently made. Like I was watching it, it's like this looks more put together than I maybe would have expected. But at the same time, like, nothing looked
polished.
Yeah, polished is a good way to put it. But nothing about it had me like, oh, I want to get in there and try that or see how that feels. It was just very like, I am watching a video game being played through Discord, and that is where I'm at in my life kind of vibe, where it was, nothing was bringing me toward it in any sense.
There's no juice. Like when you consider like the gameplay design idea of juice, like that does not exist in this game. Everything feels very like the enemies just kind of shoot. They literally just shoot at you in like a pattern that some of them teleport, and the moment that they teleport, a shot comes off of them, and you have no way of dealing with that. Yeah, and like your guns. Except for the minigun, your guns don't feel good to shoot. Like, whatever the opposite of juice is, that's what this game has. It's just so... It's like matter of fact about its mechanics, and it doesn't feel good.
I'll say the developer of both Pumpkin Jack and Akimbot, at the time of recording, I think just properly released or early access released their new game, which was Far Far West, I believe. It's something with West in it, which is, I think, a co-op roguelike first-person boomer shooter sort of thing. So that might have more sauce than either of the prior games do. I think the fact that they're going into a 4-player co-op roguelike game is probably not a good sign. Usually that's the sign of a developer that's about to go under. So hopefully that's not the case, because I think that they have the bones of good experiences in the 2 games of theirs. So in the one that both of you've played, I've played the one and seen enough of the other to know that I wouldn't care for it. So hopefully the Far Far West game does pretty okay for them, and that they can take another crack at the retro revival of PlayStation IP that a lot of people don't actually seem to care to want to play.
The thing is the development is competent enough that I think there is room for improvement. I don't want to say that the developer is scuffed. Like, I think they could do it. They kind of did something with Pumpkin Jack, and to be fair, most of the raw platforming in Akimbot is fine. The wall jumping, which we didn't even talk about, is completely
it's got
scuffed.
the worst wall jump I've ever seen in my life.
You jump off of the wall, it feels like you're falling off the wall, and then it expects you to like dash over to the next one, and it doesn't feel like you can, even though you can. It's like
imagine in any game like a Rift Apart or a Titanfall that has wall running. Imagine if you were wall running and the act of jumping off the wall didn't give you any vertical height at all. So it doesn't have a different animation either. Like, it's not like there's an animation of you jumping off the wall that looks good. It is you running, and then you, like Brody said, you essentially fall off the wall, but with some horizontal momentum. And it doesn't look
you
good.
Have to use your double jump or dash to actually make it to the next one. The double jump is the only thing that's going to give you height in that scenario. And to be fair, it gives you enough height every time to do it, but it doesn't feel like you can. It doesn't feel like you're going to be able to do it.
Yeah. It's like games that have like grind rails, but they don't have a good grind rail animation, or like Akimbot doesn't have a good double jump animation. You just do a second jump without a flip, and I think the flips are 90% of what make people like Ratchet.
Yeah, at least you have when you do the dash, you do like a little barrel roll turn. Like, that's nice.
That would cool.
But yeah, like that's all right. Like,
I think that if that game had a creative director, I think that would be potentially enough.
Like, the guy who is making them, the guy who's like clearly the director of these games, I think his tool set, his skill set probably lends itself to things like modeling and like a little bit of gameplay design. But I think if they brought someone in to puff up the design a bit, make it a bit juicier, and then they brought in like a writer, like an actual writer
too, would be a good idea.
Probably. Right. I think you could
even
make
Pumpkin
something
Jack
there.
was like edgy just to be edgy.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And I think they have skills where they could make something I could enjoy. I just don't think that they did that with Akimbot, and I don't know how much of it is due to budget. Like why is every level a beach level? You know, like how much? I get it, it's an indie game. I truly understand, but boy, like 75% of that game, I haven't finished it, so maybe there is like in the last level or something, maybe it switches it up. But boy, it sure doesn't feel like it's going to.
It's tough too, because like I remember Pumpkin Jack was like a $30 game, and it's not a long game. And then Akimbot, I think, is $20, and I think it's about the same length, so it's probably a better price for that than Pumpkin Jack was. But $20 for that still feels like.
I've told this story to both of you, I think, at this point, where I had Akimbot in my wish list for a very, very long time, for months and months and months. I think literally years since it had come out. I had it in my PS5 wish list. Right. And I would routinely see it go on sale for $8. Like every 2 weeks, whenever they swapped out the sale, I would see it go on. It was $8. And every time I was like, yeah, maybe. And then one time I saw it for $6, and I went, you know what? $6 is a price. I will jump on it. I will play it. And immediately it hits me with that first cutscene and everything. And I was like, at $6, fine, whatever. I genuinely think if I paid $8, I'd be pissed off.
From the opening cutscene. That's insane.
I was like, for $6, whatever. For $8, I'd be mad.
I guess I want to make sure we compliment Sandwich this here. The Steam reviews on Far Far West are quite good. Overwhelmingly positive, 1,400 reviews. In our chat here, Tazmac says it was fun in the playtest, so they can vouch for it. It does seem to be good. So shout out to them on that one. Just so we aren't being very mean to them here with nothing nice to say.
If hopefully that one turns out well. I think that'd be cool if that one turned out well, because I want more people to make games, obviously. So I don't want this developer to stop making games. I think that if they can afford a consultant, that would go a pretty good way.
Yeah, I think my final thought, if I'm giving like a word of encouragement, is like, keep at it, because the way to make anything is to fail multiple times until you find something that works, and it seems like they're just going to keep going at it. So like, I don't want to discourage them from making games. I just want to say this particular game, woof. Like that's my end thought there.
I could recommend Pumpkin Jack at like a $10-15 maybe. Yeah, like I think it's a cool $10 experience to pick up, put some time into, and then when you put it down, you're probably never going back, and that's okay. I think that one is one that like you could say, okay, Medieval is such a unique game that if you can do something kind of almost reminiscent of what people think they remember Medieval playing like,
right?
That's kind of what Pumpkin Jack is. It's like the LaCroix of Medieval, where this is someone else's quote. I don't know who made this quote, but it's like drinking a LaCroix is like the memory of the smell of the fruit. that it's supposed to.
Yeah, absolutely. As someone who hadn't played a whole lot of Medieval, when I played Pumpkin Jack, I was like, oh, okay, yeah. And then I played the Medieval remake, and I was like, oh, no, they're different. That's a different type of game entirely.
And that's
like,
fine.
I still get
like,
it.
Yeah.
They're taking the Medieval aesthetic framework and going, let's make a platformer instead of let's make like a proto God of War, which is
probably a good idea, frankly.
Yes, absolutely. Medieval coming out today would be strange. I mean, the remake, obviously, but it would be strange in any other kind of game to be like that.
It was good to get some clarity through you by seeing Akimbot, because you see this with like Sonic fan games that turn original, you know what I mean, where there's kind of like a vindictive, slighted feeling portion of the fan base that will glomp onto these games and become the conversation around the game, because they are the vocal minority that are going out there and talking about it generally. Like there's a lot of people quietly enjoying it and going like, oh, this is neat. This makes me think of Sonic or whatever. But then you get people who are like, no, man, this is like the good Sonic games. This is like Sonic Adventure 3, bro. Like Sega's not going to make this anymore, man. And it's the exact same shit with Ratchet fans and Akimbot, to where it's hard to parse like how much of this is real and how much of this is like, I feel like I'm getting one over on the man by having this opinion or like championing this. And when you look in the comment section of Akimbot, it sure is a lot of that energy. So it was good to get a more real picture of Akimbot.
Yeah.
Tasmac points out Spark the Electric Jester. Yeah. Fun games, but people will like grip on the Spark the Electric Jester and be like, no, man, this is what Sonic should be, bro.
And I think it's important to emphasize, like, I'm coming at this from someone, like, I kind of generally agree with the idea that, you know, Ratchet over time, I wish that he didn't.
He was his edge.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that in that way.
Say it. I think the like more family friendly sanded off Ratchet is like perfectly fun and appealing. I like it, but I do like the older stuff more, even as someone who came into it way later and didn't grow up with it, right? I do think there's something more to it. So
full circle, Saros. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off at the end there.
You're good.
Full circle, Saros has some anti-corporate vibes. So Great. it is actually.
I wouldn't do this, bro.
It is the Ratchet and Clank that you think you want.
Well, I mean, genuinely, like, when I played Returnal, I was like, "Oh, this is kind of a better Ratchet game than Rift Apart," and I liked Rift Apart, but I'm like, "This is the gameplay wise, I'm kind of digging this."
Yeah,
I like the shifty movement and everything.
And to your point, to both your points, it like I do obviously care so deeply for the old Ratchet games, to the point that more so than the newer ones, obviously. I think a lot of people blow up and think that they are that the online discussion is the discussion about this sort of stuff, so that you get like this pushback on the modern stuff that leads to a Spark the Electric Jester situation here. And it's unfortunate, because I think the cool thing now with Ratchet is there's actually a slowly burgeoning mod scene to Ratchet. Like there's the randomizers, there's a multiplayer mod for Ratchet 1 now where you can like there's a zombies horde mode of Deadlocked, apparently. There's crazy. A bunch of really cool niche stuff that people are doing with these games now that they've started to crack them. Yeah. And I think that one of those at some point will turn into a really cool Ratchet styled game. And I think the trouble is that Ratchet doesn't have the fan base Sonic does to sustain that, unfortunately. But I'm excited to see the possibilities of what that could do to expand the, potential for an indie Ratchet and Clank in the way that we have an indie God of War with Sons of Sparta.
Right.
Like that'd be a cool thing to see them branch out and do, especially when Insomniac's so packed full of stuff. But I'll close that thought out by saying the thing about a game like Akimbot, it might sound like we're being mean to the game. It's worth noting that Akimbot, if it were a Ratchet and Clank game, would be the third lowest rated Ratchet and Clank game ever, behind Before the Nexus, the mobile game, and Full Frontal Assault by 1 point.
I am being a little mean to the game, I'm not gonna lie.
like just for the record, it's not like it's well received by a lot of people. It's well received by people that are either genuinely enjoying the game, who are usually more quiet about that sort of stuff, or who are being spiteful.
Yeah. To finish my thought, it was just like, I like an edgy Ratchet. I like a Ratchet who's not, just a Pixar protagonist. Right. And not that he is in anything other than the movie game. Like he's still got some level of character to him outside of that. But like those PS2 games, like I really love that tone, and I can understand the desire to make something like that, to give like to have a Ratchet like and be like, okay, the character's going to be a little bit of like an edge case, or at least at the beginning or whatever, and maybe he'll develop, which they try doing in Akimbot, and it's not, but it's like I understand the intention, but I don't think the execution of it was very good at all, because it very is much like a, why would I help out with that? I'm only in it for myself. I'm a mercenary.
God. You just reminded me. It stood out enough to, it was annoying me at a point, just secondhand through you. But I remember saying to you specifically, Brody, it's like Kazooie can get away with being this meta because Kazooie's funny. Kazooie can walk up with Banjo and be like, oh man, we got to do a fetch quest. But whatever character in Akimbot said that, I'm like, okay, funny. Then he kept going, oh, we're on another fetch quest, huh? Sure hate that this guy keeps sending us on fetch quest. And like 10 minutes later, it's like, oh, another fetch quest, huh? I'm like, bro.
And those were mandatory quests. They say they're side quests, but they're required.
Oh yeah, there's no like side quests. There's like collectibles off the beaten path a little bit, which are always good. We didn't even talk about the epic, the mythical quest for epic loot or whatever. Like
the data logs that are all
there's data logs, and one of them's titled that, and I feel like that really just sums up the game. It's a lot. I wanted to like it. I want to like these things because I want more of games like Ratchet in these, and I like seeing an indie spiritual successor, and so I went into it like genuinely very hopeful, and the fact that it like dashed those hopes so immediately to the point where I literally refuse to play that game unless I have these two watching me do it, because why else would I do it other than for the entertainment of others,
right?
Just to suffer with me. Like, I'm not playing that game alone would be like more than the first session I played would be so sad.